Gamathon. And so we're here to talk about it, the theme, why programs like this exist, who they are for, and what we're trying to achieve this year. And believe me, this year we have an amazing, really, really amazing lineup of activities for everyone. So before I get started, does anybody have anything to say? Who wants to say hello? Who wants to just talk a little bit about themselves? Everybody's shy. Okay. But if I point at you and give you mic, you will talk. I've seen like two people that want to point at, and they're looking at me, both here and here. You, hi. If I say hello and say, tell me something a little bit interesting about you, can you do it? You said yes. You said yes, yeah? So we're going to get started now, so not to take anyone's time. And I'm going to introduce Oscar, Michael Oscar, and Adewale Abdukabir. So can we give it up for them, please? So essentially, these two are the brain children behind this. These two are the brain children behind this, that the entire reason why this program exists, the entire reason why this conference is happening, and they have a lot to say. So I'm going to hand over a microphone to both of you. Okay? Hi. So,
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Oscar, and yeah, it's a pleasure to have you all here. So I run programs at Africa Communicate, programs, business and partnerships, and anything. So Adewale is like the guy, anything tech, because I don't do tech as before. So anything tech, Adewale is the one that gets it sorted out. But anything community, business, partnerships, that's my forte. That's where you see me making it. That's why I'm always at the forefront. And then there's one more of us. He's not around currently. He's not in the country. That's Oluwatosin Ogunyebi. And he's also one of the person that makes all of this happen. So we're excited to have you here. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So I'll get straight into it. Thanks so much for coming. We don't plan on wasting your time. I'm very sorry about that delay. We're waiting for those coming in via the bus, and yeah, one or two. So we're here to just basically tell you about why the Gamathon, what the Gamathon is. I'm sure there's a whole lot of content out there, but there's still some things that are unclear to many people. And we're here to just give you an overview of what the Gamathon is, what Africa Communicate is all about, why we are doing this, what will be happening. There's an echo. Yeah, and what will be still there. Yes, and what will be happening throughout this week. Sounds spiritual. Yes, it's still there. Whilst all of that is happening, yes. So we're here to tell you what to expect this week of the Game Marathon. For some of you that follow us online, read what we post out there, you would realize that the Game Marathon started on the 11th of September. And what that basically means is we have the game jam start, right? And so last week people have been playing the games, the juries have been going through them. The announcement of the winners will come out on Wednesday to us, and we'll be announcing it this Thursday. But before I move way ahead, so what is Africa Communicate? Yeah, so what is Africa Communicate? Very simple and straightforward. Africa Communicate is a launch pad for stakeholders in the African immersive and interactive media industry. So we didn't just get here. We started out as we started out as a community. Really, if you look at our first pitch, our first story, what we realized is we needed to create a Pan-African community across the continent. The games industry is very small, and we have stakeholders spread across. Within Nigeria, the stakeholders are spread across. Across Africa, the stakeholders are spread across. But what we were looking at when we started was, hey, I know a game dev in Ghana, I know a game dev in Kenya, I know a game dev in Malawi. How about we come together to do something? And if we're not even doing something, we come together to share ideas, we come together to work on projects or see how we can grow our industry. And that's how Africa Comic Aid really started. And Africa Committee because people struggle with pronouncing it. Some people say Africa Communicate, Africa Communicate. And then we even had to, I think in 2021, we came up with the slang arcade. Like, if you can't say it, just say arcade. But Africa Communicate simply means Africa, which is the continent we are in, comics, which is that digital art space we are in, and then arcade. And you know from the word arcade that you have a space where there are many things going on. Maybe that's why most of our events, many things are always happening at the same time. You get? But that's where the word came together, and we merged it together. So you have Africa, you have comics, you have arcade. And it's also because, one, we are Pan-African, and so if we're doing anything, we think Africa first. We don't think Nigeria first. We always think, oh, if we're running a program, how would somebody in Zambia be able to join this program? How would somebody in Kenya be able to benefit from it? That's what we put at the forefront of whatever we do. And the second thing, the arcade, we realized that this is the digital creative industry. The games industry is struggling because it's very isolated. And so I should try. Okay then, cool. Yeah, it works. So even in the normal tech industry, you realize that it's like they separate game developers. When they say, what do you do? Or you're a tech bro. They don't call game devs tech bro, do they? They don't. And it's sad because we are the techiest of the bros out there. Yeah, because if you are a game dev, kudos to you. You go through a lot. There's no job for you and you're still doing it. And then it's very difficult, it's very technical, and then it's very creative. And you are doing all of that combined together. So it's really something I find amazing, but we need to bridge that gap to educate people. If you look at the creative industry, they don't call game dev. You hear fashion, music, dance. So where is game dev? If you look at the tech industry, product manager, those ones, they're everywhere. UI, UX design, front end, back end, full stack, full stop. Any other thing, that's what you do. Okay, you get my point. But then we are, I say games is one of the most creative process out there because you're doing everything. There's writing, there's psychology, there's design, name it. There's programming, there's artificial intelligence, and it depends on how far you are willing to go, right? You see some very simple games, but when they give you the code, your mind will be blown. Sadly, people outside the industry think it's the graphics that makes the game difficult. Like, once it's 3D, baba, once it's 2D, you're still playing. Yeah, but that's not the case. Even when it's 2D or 3D, the more you go, the more you learn, the more you see that this is really more than it is. So that's why we formed the arcade. That's why the arcade bit of it is there, because games is a lot. It's not just one. You can't grow in isolation. You need to work with people in various sectors. And that industry, if you're a game dev, you can transition to XR development, AR or VR. You can work in the animation industry. I mean, in Nigeria, for example, almost all animation studios are creating game studios right now. Again, and you would work with people because your skills are very transferable between these sectors. And that's how we came up with the word Africa Communicate. So we started out as a community. We moved on to becoming like a platform for people to showcase themselves. And we've tried a lot, we've failed a lot, we've pivoted a lot. But where we are today is, I think, we are glad to even have this kind of physical event because we have some form of clarity on who we are, what we are doing, and where we are going. And that is a launch pad for stakeholders in the African immersive and interactive media industry. Yeah.
Just to go back to the beginning, actually, I don't know if Oscar remembers this. When we started, yeah, I mean, I've known him for a while now. Like, I think he was my mentor. I mean, I got into the gaming industry in like 2017, I think. Yeah, I was more like, a web developer then. So, he introduced one of the person actually introduced me to like, game development. And, we don't used to like say it to his face, but, he's crazy. Like, this, they say, yeah, he's crazy actually. So, yeah. So I think during COVID 2020, yeah, 2020. So when everybody was like, "Oh, where is the world actually going?" So Tosin, like the third guy. So we've been like running like game jams, GG global game jam in school in University of Ilorin. So yeah, so we wanted to run another one like during COVID, and okay, so sort of like call Oscar. So okay, this is what we are doing, and just like crazy again. So we just like okay, nah, you guys are going to like do it big this time. And to be sincere, we were scared like okay, no, this is not the way we wanted to do it, but thanks to him, he actually like makes it like possible. I mean, just like I said earlier, he's been like in the forefront, like fighting the battles, like doing like a lot of things, and please let me give me a round of applause, please. Like he has actually tried a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So yeah, thank you. This is like an appreciation.
Thank you
Thank you.
as well. Because, yeah, we would stop just thanking ourselves. But yeah, one thing I can say is yes, I'm crazy, I accept, and we're always pushing. Trust me. I think what we always do every year is when we sit down and we push our limits. So everybody's like, yeah, we finally did this. And I'm like, okay, next year we're doing this, this. And people are like, no, we don't have the resources. I'm like, let's see how it goes. Um, because the only way we can be at the forefront in this industry, nobody's going to give us a seat. That's the simple truth. Game devs, my goal is to make game devs cool. I want people to be able to say, I want to be a game developer in Africa, not outside Africa. You get? And I want people to be able to say, hey, I know this game dev, I know that game dev, I know this game dev, and they are successful. And actually successful. Right? And I'm glad to say we have a lot of people in the community that are on that path. A lot of us right now, in the past 3-5 years, have been going that way, and there's so much more success in the space. And that's why we're excited to be having this, because now all the mistakes we've made, you don't have to do it again. You get? You don't really have to repeat that process. Now you can have access to mentors who can guide you, who can show you the opportunities, who can support you along the way, and we're excited for that. So to move on quickly, because we're on time, the next thing is the Gamathon. What is the Gamathon? Some people call it Gamathon. Yeah, so it's very simple. The Gamathon is that event where we bring all stakeholders together. Okay, so if you're in games, if you're in animation, if you're in comics, if you're in XR, come together, showcase your work. That was how it started, really. It started as a game jam, right? But I was like, this game jam, you'll not just be building games, you'll be hearing from people in the industry. And we did reach out to a lot of people. You'll be shocked how many no's we got. A lot. Especially from within Africa. There were more no's within Africa than outside Africa. But that year, our launch, we got the support of Humble Bundle. That's Humble Games. And my mind was blown, like, why would these people take a chance on us? We just reached out to them online. Whereas Africans were telling us Africans will not participate on an online jam. It has to be physical. We don't have internet. You get? And then we had people like Peter Vesterbacher reach out, connect with us, and said, yes, I would love to give a talk. And so a 1 week jam became a 2 weeks event. where after building games, we had people come and talk to us. So that Gamathon, the main idea with it is it's the time where the industry converge to come and showcase what they've been building. And then also connect with one another. Because for many of us, this is the time we get to meet one another. For me, on an average, if I'm not at events talking, I'm mainly trying to organize a program or reach out to business partners or the likes to see how we can continue the work. So you would barely see me. And with many of the devs, they are at home building, coding, right? But we need an event that can bring us together. Back then, we used to have some like West Africa Gaming Expo. That used to be the go-to place for all game developers in Nigeria. But now we've created something that even if you are not physically in this space, like those people watching online, they can join us and get to learn what we are doing. They can also showcase what they are doing. We can connect with them virtually because the world has evolved. It's now a global village. And so we should not limit ourselves. So basically that's what the Gamathon is. It's 1 week of jamming where people are building games following a theme with the aim of seeing how people can collaborate with one another, make new friends, try new technologies and the likes. It's another week of showcasing works, having sessions like this where people are talking, sharing their experiences, and then it evolves to having a pitch competition where people can pitch their projects so people can see what they are building, and maybe, perhaps, they can get someone interested in funding this project. That's really what it is. Want to add something? No. Okay, cool. So, yeah. It's the technical guy, and you know them. So, yeah, so what are we planning for this event? We put a lot into coming up with this. We put a whole lot of time, of effort, of planning, and we've switched a lot. But we came up with this event knowing that we want people to connect. We came up with this event knowing that we want to create the opportunity for people to showcase themselves and also create opportunities for them to grow. So the theme for this year, I can announce that, right? Yeah. So the theme for this year is pathways. Please clap for it. Clap for it. The theme for this year is what? Is what? The theme for this year is pathways. Last year the theme was what? Business sustainable creativity. Yeah. So why pathways? Very simple. People not traditionally in the games industry are most times the one making most from game development or gaming. You might not believe it, but that's actually the state of the industry. A bulk of the stakeholders are almost focused on one direction. Let's build a game for entertainment. It's now we are seeing that change. Yeah, it's now we are seeing that change. A bulk of the people are focused on one thing, entertainment. But we need to realize that the African market is unique. And so if you want to target this market, you need unique solutions, you need unique experiences, and find unique ways as well of monetization. And there are lots of opportunities coming up. But be it due to limited resources or limited information, people are not chasing these opportunities. So the theme of this year is pathways, so that we can connect people to these new avenues that you can grow. We can create bridges to new industries and stakeholders that you can work with. And yeah, that's what we'll be doing for the next 5 days after today. Yeah. Okay then. Before I open the floor for questions from you all, where you can ask us anything you want to ask us, and please do ask him questions. It's too quiet for my liking. Yes. So what will be happening? Today is the press launch, where we talk to you, you talk to us, we share and interact. Tomorrow there's going to be a studio tour. So about 5 studios in Lagos are waiting to see you all. So for all delegates that the boss is taking, and then if you are not a member of the delegate but you're interested in going, please reach out to Ola, the guy wearing the blue shirt behind, so that you can get his contact and see how you go. We'll be leaving very early. It's going to be quite a journey. There will be online sessions happening tomorrow, but the bulk of you will be visiting these studios, and I'm really excited. You get to see their process, you speak to some of the founders. If you are looking for internship, please, that is the opportunity. If you want to know what studio is doing what, that is it. And even beyond the founders, that's something our industry also doesn't put a lot of focus on. There are lots of people, it takes a team to make anything work, right? So you get to see the person doing the illustration, get to see the person doing the coloring, doing the art. You get to connect with people, and that would be fun. But whilst that is going, there will be online sessions. You can follow that up later on Meet to Match. The platform is on. That's where most people watching the stream are also going to be able to access it. Then on Wednesday, we have a legal workshop. This is going to be strictly focused on the game studio founders, and the other people who are more inclined toward business. So we'll be visiting a legal firm in the morning to discuss with them about IP, intellectual property, about understanding the legal side of running a creative studio, because we are getting there. And so I strongly believe a lot of opportunities are coming for us across Africa, so we need to also be prepared. If you are not registered, you need to get registered. If you don't have your books, if it's co-founders agreement, maybe you are taking 99% and you're giving your co-founder 1%. We need to start having this kind of discussions. The characters you are creating, do you just give your friends to use it? Then when he makes money, you now start saying, it's my character you use. Your game ideas, how are you protecting that? All of this is intellectual property. The sound, are you creating your sound, or you're downloading sounds and you want to make money? And also, talking about equity, financing, these are things you get to interact with these people. They are the biggest across West Africa. And when they told us we can come to their office, my mind was blown, seriously. So we're going to go there on Wednesday. And then in the evening, we'll be at Alliance Francais. There's going to be a film screening. And there will be drinks there for you to just wind down. Watch about 5 short animation films from across Africa, and then connect with the people in that atmosphere. Yeah, that would happen on Wednesday. Please, don't enter my DM and ask me again. I'm saying it now. And then all the information is online as well. On our website, there's a place where you just click View Deck. It has always been there. Just click on it. And on Instagram, that is also there. But we'll do more to communicate and push it, because I know a lot is going on our Instagram. So we'll do more to put it in your face as well. On Thursday is the main industry day. There's going to be pitch competitions from about 20 studios. Yes, they have short time to pitch. They've been selected. You get to see what the studios have built. And for those who are pitching, they're pitching for a chance to win from a cash pool of about $13,000. 4 of them would be going to Africa Games Week in November, December. In November, December this year in South Africa. And they'll get to, everyone pitching will also get to go into the ARC Pre-Accelerator. And what that is that's just a program for people who want to run game studios, to understand the business side of it. So during that program, you will learn how to create a pitch deck, your business model, your financial model. You will learn how to pitch, because pitching is an art. There are so many people that don't have products, but when they sell their ideas to you, you'll be blown away. Yeah, so you need to know how to communicate your ideas and put yourself in a proper structure for investment. So that's happening on Thursday. It's going to be almost a full day, like a half day, from 2 down to 8 p.m. Lunch is provided, right? Then on Friday, If you're interested, we'll be going to Vibranium Valley. The kids, we have the Teen Expo. So, and we have one of our amazing exhibitors here who came all the way from Ghana to showcase his game. So, yeah. Yeah, so he's also going to be showcasing his game there, even on the main industry day, because I mean, he traveled down to show. So if you guys think, I can't do, this is someone, they are coming for your job. Yes, so he's going to be showcasing his game. Other children from different schools are going to be coming together to come and meet the game developers, the animators, and all. I do know some comic studios have volunteered. I know Mafor Comics gave us their comic books to print for free to the students coming. So some studios are going to be giving out souvenirs as well. You do know that it's very important to catch our children young. As they grow, they build perceptions of how the world is. I grew up watching and reading Marvel comics, Archie comics, as well as DC cartoons. And that's why, even in most of our art style, we are always focused on that kind of thing. We use that to grade. Right, mate? Yeah. But right now it's time. We now have digital creators, and we need to switch our mindset from consumers to creators. So we need to tell our younger ones, it is possible. You can do it. So you show them what you are doing, and you mentor them so that they don't make the mistakes you make. That way it would accelerate their growth. And then when young people like him as well show them what he is doing, it's balanced, because then they see if he can do it, then I can do it. I just need the proper guidance and support. And then on Saturday, on Friday, lest I forget, it's packed. It's really packed. So after the Teen Expo, we could relax, and then we have Anime Rave. So if you're an anime fan, free tickets to everyone attending the Gamathon. You'll be going there to, there's going to be an anime watch, is it a film screening? Yeah, they're going to be watching anime, there's going to be cosplay and so many more cool stuff. That's happening at A3C Ikeja. So as long as you're coming through Africa Comic Kid, you have full access to that event. And then on Saturday as well, at Muriokoala is the Creative Block Carnival, where you also have full access. So on the Thursday, we'll be giving out the pass to everyone, so that once you get there, you just be like, digital creator, and they let you in. While others will be like, 5K, 5K. Yeah. And that will bring the entire event to wrap. During this, you would have access to some information. We're going to be doing some announcements, especially on the Thursday, announcing some of the programs we have in view. For example, the Spark Fellowship and the Act Fellowship, which I gave some little insights to. And yeah, I think I welcome you to the Gamathon. It's now officially open. Yeah. Yeah, so now it's open for questions.
He talked a lot, so you should have questions. He said a lot of things. So anybody have questions for Oscar or Adewale? Or should I make you ask questions too? So anybody have questions, you want to know something, or you're not clear on something, you want clarity? Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I don't know why people ask their friends before they ask questions. Like, now your question. Ask them now. Hi, do we have questions? Do you have questions for me? So we're clear on everything that Oscar and Adewale, and no Adewale,
No.
Adewale didn't say anything. We're clear on everything Oscar said, yes? You have
Technical
questions?
only. They have technical questions, no Allah.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
only
yeah,
technical
I'm
questions
glad to
Adewale
answer
can
those.
take.
Yeah.
Sorry. But any questions regarding anything that has been spoken so far? No? We're good. Free tickets to Creative Block, we're good. Oh, hi. See? Thank you. Come to the IT. Come to the IT. Come. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ike. I'm also part of the team. Abby. So I just needed clarity on when you said pathways, because just pathways. Is there any other thing accompanying pathways? Just for clarity, what are these pathways that you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes, so like I said, pathways basically, the simplest way to explain it is avenues, or we say bridges, right? So when we think of pathways, when we're coming up with that idea, the main focus was if you want to succeed in this industry, there is no one path to follow, right? There are various opportunities out there that we are not following. For example, at Lagos Comic Con on Saturday, Matthew was giving us examples of how if you're in the XR industry, you can get access to funding opportunities. And he gave us specific industries that are growing. And that is one thing we've noticed a lot. A lot of the people in this space are driven by passion. And you know, passion sometimes can be blinding. Yeah, especially if you are not strategic and logical about it. So the idea here is, yes, you can be creative. Yes, you can build what you want to build. But how can you build sustainably? How can you build in such a way that in the next 3 years you are still existing and you can still build and you are not totally burnt out? I said totally because you might be burnt out. But how do you ensure you are not totally burnt out and you can still continue pursuing your passion? So there are pathways, and those pathways are what we'll be exploring. You don't even have to, in some cases, a bulk of the stakeholders are focused on entertainment. But now we know there is a growing rise in demand for serious games, for example, right? Games that can be used for education. These games that can be used to drive social change or social impact. Games that can be used to change the behavior of people. This is one big market right now that a lot of people are pushing into, as opposed to just playing games where they are shooting or running. Also, there's a rise in corporate gaming. There's a rise in business games. People are beginning to use this industry for gamification. People have materials. People have trainings they want to carry out. Instead of giving them bulky materials or so, people are creating VR simulations now. People are gamifying tasks. You do it, clean, thumbs up, you get 10 points, and they use that to grade you as a staff or employee or student. This is another opportunity we can venture in, because the simple truth is our market is different. How many of you here spend money on games? You are rich, I know you. Yeah. But a bulk of you are techie, right? And I'm sure for those of you that raised your hands up, if we say amongst your friends, how many of them spend money on games? Are they up to 50%? I don't know, you might, but the more you widen the pool, the lesser it becomes. I know growing up, I did not buy games. Stop laughing, most of you didn't too. And most of you still don't. You get? So, and yet, a bulk of us are still focused on entertainment. When it comes to entertainment, that's the last thing on an average African's mind. And in almost all our pitch deck, what do we say? Africa is the most populous nation. It's going to have youth double its size by 2050, right? Nigeria, as my Kenyan friend would say, is 250 million. 250 million people. And so there's a huge market, yay. But in that market, how many people has up to $5 to spare for entertainment? It's very small. So if we want to grow in this market, we need to understand what this market needs. And by understanding it, there's a lot of problem in Africa. That's what makes Africa exciting for investors and all. Because if you can solve a problem, the opportunity of making money comes along with it. And so it's in trying to identify those problems that we will discover those various pathways. We have identified some. We'll be sharing it with you. And that's why the Gamathon is an open dialogue for you to also share with us so that we can share with other creatives and perhaps collaborate, work together to see how to grow the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I think the thing that has stuck out to me most from everything that he has said is we are actually a unique market. Last, like, how many of you have Netflix subscriptions here? How many of you? How many of you used to use Netflix? How many of you have been going to Net Nigeria before it closed? How many of you? Exactly. And it's, to be honest, not because we don't want to pay, but this continent is hard, right? And so when we build solutions, like he said, we can't have the same solutions they have in like a first world country. We can't have that. It won't work. And that's the entire point of this thing, to make sure that industry experts are telling you how to build something before in Africa and you end up making money. That's the gist of it. So any other questions for, thank you. Thank you. Come, 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 come. Come, come, come. I love your cap, by the way. Thank you.
So, hi everyone. Hey, my name is Wendy and I'm from Kenya. I'm really happy to be here and thank you, Africa Communicate, for inviting me. I'd also like to congratulate you for all the work that you're doing. It's amazing. To be honest, compared to like what I see at home and also other places I've traveled, you're doing a great job bringing people together here. So I'd like to ask you for tips for people across Africa who want to do something similar. In this case, coming up with events or solutions that help demystify our amazing industry and promote our digital creatives more effectively. So what tips do you have?
Okay. Okay then. So what tips? First thing, I don't know how to put this, but first thing you just need to know is, first thing is be realistic, right? This space, don't expect anything and expect everything. Yeah, your heart will be broken. When we started out, we were pro collaboration, and I can tell you, collaboration is very difficult on the continent, very, very difficult. And that's simply because everyone is struggling, you know? If the UN wants to run a program, there's like a backlog of cash, there's like 500 people as team members, right? And all they just need to do is what? Allocate resources. That's what they call it, allocate resources. But yeah, if you have an idea, your heart goes up, there's like a light in you. But then bringing that idea to reality becomes very difficult. And so it's going to affect you in so many ways. So expect nothing and expect everything at the same time. To come up with ideas like this, the first thing you need is community. You need to surround yourself with people, if not as crazy as you, then they should be crazy enough to believe in you. Yeah, because you would have to put in everything you have into making this work. So you need people around you first, so that when you fall, they can take you up. The next thing is learning. It's every year, it might not look like, but after every event, I almost always disappear. But when I come back, I'm more like, what did we do wrong? What can we do better? I read some of the feedback shared. I listen to what the team has to say. Then I get angry. And then when I'm done getting angry, I go back, sit down, and I think about it. So you're going to iterate. You're going to have to do a lot of learning. You're going to have to look out there to see what is working for people, and then try to bring it to your area in a way that works for you. Because I attend a lot of events. Thanks to our partnership with Meet to Match, Meet to Match Tokyo just ended on Sunday. I was there, virtually though. I joined Gamescom Cologne and so many more events. I go out there to see what works. I know what I am capable of. I know I can't do it. And then I know my people as well. You get? So I try to do something that works for them. So there's going to be a lot of learning. You would have to dedicate a lot of your own personal time and resources to this, and give yourself a runway. I have a timeline for myself where I'm going to give it all and try out so many things year in, year out. I think about last month I stated that my plans for 2024 is already set. Yeah, I already have that. Yes, I already have what I want to do in 2024. So once I'm done with this, it's to now start seeing how that can happen. So you're going to do a lot of learning. You're going to need collaboration once more, but be intentional about it. And when you're doing that, one thing I've learned, because when I started, it was about, hey, let's collaborate. And everybody like, yeah, let's collaborate. Give me your logo, give me your logo, give me your logo. Now let's do the work. Nobody is around. You get? So you need to be intentional. And the most intentional thing you can do about collaboration is understanding that there must be an exchange. The next person must see value. And you as well must see value in having that person on board. Um, Thankfully, we have gone away from events where it's all about having logos and having people. That's another problem we have in Africa, and it's because of our space. You look at the events in the UK and the US, they say they're having a games industry event. Just 50 people. It's a success. People would sponsor, people would support. In Africa, you want to have an event. The first question they ask you is, how many people are coming? And so even if you have to go and kidnap them, you get. So we need to, that's why we're trying to push for that business case here, so that people understand our sector for what it is. We are not gaming, we are not gambling, we are game development, we are animation, we are creators, not consumers. And so our expectations should be different. And yeah, collaborate, put your mind into it, be open to learning. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? None? None? You want to add something, Adewale? Okay, so thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Adewale. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So the next, we're going to have a short discussion between Michael, Oscar, and please, I'm about to pronounce your name. Forgive me in advance. I'm not Yoruba. I'm going to do my best, please. I'm sorry, but Mr. Oba Oluwa Abioye. That's right. Oba Oluwa Abioye. Hi. Hi. Do you accept my apology? So, Mr. Abalua Abioye and Michael Oscar will be talking about digital innovation for youth empowerment and socio-economic development. That's very long. Basically, they want to talk about how digital innovation can help our youth grow. That's it. But yeah, thank you.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we're going to have a small chat. Please, let's get involved in this. Oba is someone that is special and dear to me. I've known Oba for like 6 years, right?
Like
7 years.
Yeah.
Super, super. And I know there are lots of youth in this place. I'm a youth as well. And so we're going to be discussing about digital innovation and how youth can use that to grow our economy. Before we dive right into it, Oba, please introduce yourself. I'm sure a lot of people want to know who you are. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is actually Obalolua Ajiboye. But so I don't remove your teeth, just say Oba. So where will I? Okay. All right. A digital and innovation, African Union Digital and Innovation Fellowship alumni. Over the years, I've been working with the government continental-wide on innovation and how the continental-wide, as like I said, how we can bring in innovation to what we are doing, and also how innovation can help out with the work that the African Union Commission is doing as well. And yeah, it's funny how most of everything actually started from gaming too, but I think we'll get there. Yeah, so what else? Okay, I love cooking, and I love traveling. And yeah, it's not only Wally that says Mr. Oscars. Yeah, I had Mr. to his name. Anyway, it's not only Adewale that sees Oscar as someone that is crazy. We all do. Uh, we just don't say it for Oscar.
Let's move.
He's there.
Yeah, let's move on. So Alba worked with the African Union. They came up with a program for youth and innovation across Africa, and it was among the first cohorts to join that program. And one of their main job was to see how to get youth to be a part of coming up with solutions for the continent. And the interesting bit of it is, Oba here also has a background in the game development industry. So he used to be a game developer, right? Can you tell us about that, please?
Like I said, everything all started with with game actually. Uh, I remember when me and Mr. Oscar met in 2017, was it 2017 or 2016, where we had this Jungle Girls event in Oshobo, and I needed a place to do my CWS. I mean, most of you that went to school here in Nigeria, I'm guessing everybody here is. Anyway, yeah, and then I needed a place, and then there was this place called Center for Tech, and we went there. Uh, he actually taught me 2D. I remember the splash screen. Yeah, and yeah, the gaming industry actually, like coming into the space, actually helped me to be more creative. Uh, most of the and also to be fast because most of the time we have people we work with all these what's their name all these secondary school students who are actually in their summer. They want to do they don't want to waste their time at home, so their parents just bring them to the organization, and then we teach them game and all those things. And we I was forced to be able to work very very fast because most of the time these kids are probably traveling out next week, and they definitely want to show their dad the game that they made. So, and also I think I also learned how to like ask for help because most of the time I like to just be solo and just do my thing, and yeah. What else again? I don't know if I've been able to uh, say a lot, but the gaming industry actually helped me to be more creative with a lot of stuff. Uh, not only through work and also my whole personal life as well, and helped me found my path with project management because I remember we ended up working on different projects, and that was the thing that I actually enjoyed doing. I mean, it's still the thing I enjoy doing. So yeah, I left game for you people.
Yeah, so just for more context, Oba is here because he's someone that literally started like his main tech career in the game development industry. But then there's always this notion that if you're in that industry, you should be like a programmer, right? Or a developer, as they say. But Oba was able to find his path in project and project management mainly. And now he moved from there to organizing various programs. Before African Union, you were at where?
Ventures platform.
Ventures platform. And there they created a lot of programs for startups people. That's in Abuja, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
They have a co-work space now in Lagos. Yeah, Ventures Park.
Ventures Park, okay?
Has anyone? Well, they do. You can check it out.
Okay. Okay. Is it Venture Garden? No.
Ventures Park.
Ventures Park. Or
Yeah.
Vibranium Valley. Ventures Park. Yeah. Yes. So he was able to move into program project management from game development. And so he used to teach people how to build games way back in 2017, 2016. But then he moved on to go into the business side of things. And from there now he's in, should I say, the public side of things, where, right? Yeah, where they're actually trying to bring about change for African youths across the continent. And so it's like a fellowship program where they pick them for a year, and then they come up with a project for that 1 year and see how they can actually make it come to reality to benefit youth in Africa. It's an initiative to kind of bring the youth into the decision-making process for the youth. Do you want to share, is there anything you can share about your works at the African Union? Maybe some project.
Okay, let me start from the fellowship. I was actually having the other time outside. I was having a call with someone that was asking me about the work that was done too, and I was saying, uh, it's not, it wasn't, it's not focused on one thing, because that's one thing with the government. Um, you can say, oh yeah, you're a developer, but trust me, you're going to, they'll come and meet you with printer issues. They'll come and meet you with stuff that you don't like. Government generally. Now, so the fellowship is actually focused on innovators that can build solution to solve problem, any particular problem, and it doesn't matter how you want to build it. I remember one of the people that was selected from Burkina Faso actually built a product that I think a 3D something that has to do with the museum, the African Museum. And we have someone that did something around software that can be used to generate requests every time. And we have people like me that focus on data analytics side of things. So whatever you're doing, as long as you're building a solution, you can always apply for the fellowship. It's not yet out. I think hopefully beginning of next year or ending of this year, it should be out. The name is AU Digital and Innovation Fellowship. And okay, what was the question again? Yeah, the project, getting in, I noticed that the way things are being done, okay, I had a meeting with my director, and she also pointed it out regarding, them not being able to monitor some things and all that. And I said, okay, you know what? Let's. And she mentioned, you know what? I need something like a dashboard. I don't know how you people do it. Just do. I'm like, okay, okay. I understand. And so I developed a budget dashboard that monitors the budget that comes into the department and how much has been spent and how what they have been spent on. I also came up with a particular dashboard that deals with projects. So she's been monitored and she's been notified whenever something is going on. So we also have something called the volunteer program at the African Union. I think that one, the application is out now. That one is not only for techies, it's basically for everyone, as long as you are from 18 to 35. Now, so it's a project under my department, and when you come into there, you have to do your medicals, right? Some people don't do it, some people don't submit their report and other things. So I came up with dashboard to also verify, check out, fish out those people, send notification to her, and then the project manager would be, I wouldn't want to say I have to be on fire, but yeah, something around that. It was what else again, and then I got to work on projects. So like I said, it's not, you just have to be an innovator, because if I'd say, okay, let me just focus on data analytics, there's no way I will be able to have worked on project. I also worked with the Office of the Youth Envoy on the digital skills campaign. So that was done in different 10 African countries. I was able to go with them to Juba, the one for South Sudan, but every other one, yeah, it happened in Ghana. I think Nigeria didn't come true. You people should do better. But anyway, yeah, there was one was done in Ethiopia as well. So, I was able to work on project as well. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not just saying, oh, okay, this is what I do and this is what I'm going to focus on, but try and know a little bit of other things to be able to accomplish a lot of things. Within a short period of time. Yeah.
Super. Okay, yeah. So as you see, Oba has done a lot of work in the public space. You might not also know, he was one of the people that worked on the Nigerian startup bill, right? Yeah, he had a lot of stuff to do on that project. I remember him sending me lots of forms and surveys to fill. And that is like a bill that guides the way startups in Nigeria are going to relate, you get, with the government in terms of the benefits the government is giving to you as a startup, how the government will relate with you. So that is why he's actually here. He might look young and humble and speak humbly, but he has done a lot of work on the public side. that affect our lives as digital creators, as tech innovators. His focus so far for the past 3, 4 years has been working with the government to create regulations, to create programs, initiatives that can really help us moving forward. So my big question before I open it, so we don't take much time, my big question is, there's a whole lot of focus now on the creative industry. When you look at big organizations and the likes, say the UN, the AU and the likes, right? And then there's a whole lot of focus as well on you, right? So what are those things out there that are open for you? What are those opportunities out there that are open to help youth come to the forefront in driving the socio-economic state of Africa? Because we do know right now, of course, the minister here in Nigeria, Boso, is doing a lot of amazing stuff. Currently, he's trying to bring the innovators, the stakeholders together to interact with them. But why is it so important to put youth at the forefront? And what opportunities are out there that youth should really be going out for and that they can access?
Um, okay, that's actually a very good question. But one thing that maybe I didn't mention is at the HAU, the department that was doing the fellowship was the Women, Gender, and Youth Directorate. So our work actually focused on gender, women, and also youth. Now, from the data that I think I saw, states that Africa is like 70% youth, and we there's one of the core work of that the AU is working towards is the Agenda 2063. Now, the people driving it now won't be the one by that time, right? They won't be the one. Most of them will not be there. Most of them will still be there. Now, I feel like we are being like targeted because, of course, we are like the future. We need to put the how will I say it? We need to get our feet on ground. We need to start doing things. Now, regarding the creative industry, some things and what I would say we should advise that I would give is now. You mentioned stuff about the serious game. We need to look at what is needed. I, if okay, if you look at most of these organizations that you mentioned, international organizations that you mentioned, the the way they pay attention to uh, innovation is not even that high yet. It's this year that that thing is just going up. Now, before we now say the creative side, so I would say doing more serious game actually would bring the creative uh, aspect of tech to the limelight. Last year, the Peace and Security Department of the AU launched a game called Mission 55 Conflict in Anaka. Yeah, it's around bringing the youth to be able to engage and also see uh, make decision with around the peace and security for Africa. I think it's only available on Android. Now, this was built with GIZ and also UN Office to the African Union. Now, this type of games now would these are something that will catch their attention and be like, okay, you know what? Oh, okay, let's do this. This is nice. This is all these type of ideas. Now, if I'm not saying you should not build the one that are shooting gun and you are shooting each other for fun, of course, but if we are trying to achieve that aim of also being in the limelight, like they see tech, other developers and other things now, we need to be more intentional about also building what is needed, right? It's not the it's not want every time. So I don't know if I've been able to answer your question to some
Yeah, I
extent,
think,
but
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, we should use our creative skill sets to do things that have social impact. That way, it will bring more youths or more stakeholders in the creative industry to the forefront.
Exactly.
So you call the game Mission 55.
Yes, Mission 55 conflict in Anaka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please let's clap for that. I don't know if there are any questions. Please, any questions for him? Yes.
Thank you. Please come, 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 come.
There's a question?
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
You don't want to start question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay. Thank you for that. I really like that your work in public space is really targeting the youths. First of all, my name is Ayodeji. I'm a web developer. I'm just a new game developer. I just came to the industry recently. So when we talk about the public space, one thing is that generally there are programs that target youth, target people, and most times I think the impact of these programs are not really documented. And that's one thing I just want you to tell us, as in, how do you measure the success of your programs? Are there specific like studios that were built? Maybe a youth, a reward youth that was brought into the light, just to measurable impact of your public programs. I really want to hear about that. Thank you.
I will start with one of the projects being done that's actually targeted at youth, which is the 1 million next level. Now, in 2020, is it 18 or 2019? The chairperson of the African Union, His Excellency Musa Faki, launched a particular project called 1 million by 2021. Now, this project was supposed to be aimed at empowering 1 million youth by 2021, right, in the areas of education, entrepreneurship, health, entrepreneurship, what else again? Engagement as well. Now, in 2021, when they were doing the review, they noticed that this about 7 million youth was actually reached and not 1 million. So they said, okay, let's do next level, which is why we have the 1 million next level now. And then they added new sectors like health and well-being and innovation as well. Now, under that is where we now have other fellowships, right? We have the volunteer program as well. And I would use the fellowship as an example. 10 people were selected at first out of 720, and then they added 3 more. Finishing the fellowship, about 2 got a staff contract with the AFCFTA in Ghana. About 4 was retained with the AU, and one of us went back to Lesotho, where he's from, to set up his hub, and to also bring people, engage with more youth. And also we have some other people as well who actually went back to their country to, set up more stuff. So, to be honest, I actually see that as one of the success rate of the whole reaching youth. And with the volunteer program as well, that one you see people. I have a particular colleague that I know so well who was a volunteer and reached out to me. I think it was in June or something. I was like, hey, yo, I'm resuming at the UNHQ today. And the volunteer program actually gave her the experience needed to, be able to attain this role. And we have some other couple of both programs and all that as well. So I don't know if I've answered the success rate, but I can assure you it's been measured and the success has been reached.
Thank you. So, any more questions? Any more questions? So, no more questions? Okay. So, thank you so much. Please give him a round of applause. So, this is our final panel session, and this one is actually very interesting because we're going to be bringing people from other parts of Africa, from Kenya, Tanzania, to sit down and have a discussion. So, just give us a few minutes to set up their seats so they can sit down. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay then. So we have some people from outside Nigeria, and of course I'm calling them on spot. They are all like, "Hey, you did not tell me. You didn't tell me." But the idea is we have some people from outside Nigeria who have come in to see what the space is like, because I mean it's Africa Communicate, and we're really honored to have them in our midst. So we're not going to stress them or so. We just want them to introduce themselves, and then you can then perhaps maybe you have questions of what it's like in their own space. The reason I started Africa Communicate for Africans is when I interacted with a lot of Africans, I realized our problems are very similar. And so we came up with the idea of bringing them together, all stakeholders, to see how we can work together, find solutions, and then replicate these solutions in our various countries, right? And today, for the this is the second year, but the first time we're having more people from outside Nigeria coming in physically. Let's welcome on stage everyone I shall be coming. So I'll start with, please let's clap for Rama, please. Yes. Welcome. Rama is from Tanzania. Please have your seats. They'll get to introduce themselves. Yes. Let's welcome Patrice. Yes. Patrice is from Benin Republic. Yes. Please, I need one more chair, please. Yes. Hold on. Yes. Let's welcome Wendy. Wendy, please. Wendy is from Kenya. When you look at the African games industry, there are few people that cover what happens in the space, and there are few platforms, and Wendy is at the forefront. When I came in and I was trying to do my research, I remember getting across a lot of her articles, and she writes for a lot of brands, not just in the continent, outside the continent as well. And then let's welcome Mark. Yes. Okay, yeah. Yes, so they all came into Nigeria because I've been doing a lot of marketing. You get, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. We have one of the biggest, best, we have a large game developer community and all. And they came in as well to like interact with everyone, learn from you, hear your stories. And so I'm giving you the opportunity as well to also learn from them, interact with them, hear what it's like in their space. So we'll start with introductions. Wendy, since you're holding the mic, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone, once again. Hey, so I'm Wendy again from Kenya, Wendy Ndaki from Kenya. As Oscar mentioned, I am a writer. I write with a couple of, I write for a couple of brands. I started with one from Kenya called Ludic Works, sorry. And then I went on and wrote for Games Industry Africa, and currently I'm writing majorly for Primotum Games. So the first two are from Kenya and Nigeria, actually, one is Nigerian but based in Sweden. That's Games Industry Africa, and then the other one was Kenyan, and now I'm writing for Primotum Games, which is based in Netherlands. So I mostly, at the moment, I'm writing about industry practitioners, stakeholders, and I'm trying, as Oscar mentioned, it's important to cover everyone's stories, not just the founders of their companies, also the people who create the stories, the people who draw. Everyone is important. So that's currently what I'm trying to do. Yeah, so thank you for listening, and yeah, that's a little about what I'm doing.
Yeah, Wendy is, I don't know what to say, very inspiring because nobody's talking about us, right? Everybody's talking about Ashake, Whiskey, and everyone. And then we have people putting in equal amount of energy, passion, and nobody knows about us. But because of people like someone can go online and type game developer, maybe in Nigeria, in Ghana, and then one of our names pop up, and that's really good. And it also tells that the games industry, you really don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to code. In that industry, there's like almost 100 fields, if not more, that you can be in. Of course, the opportunities are not yet here in Africa, but then you could get remote jobs, you could work with studios, just as she said. There will be a journey. It won't happen overnight. You will have to start somewhere. But it tells you there's so much more you can do in this space. We're not asking you to come and write code. If you don't want, there are many things you can explore. Yes. Let's hear from you, Mark.
Thank you very much. My name is Makafui Mark Lecha, and you can call me Mark. I think it's easier. Yeah, I'm a developer and an artist. I started as an artist before becoming a developer. I specialized in interactive media, and in the Ghanaian market, I'll say, aside interactive media, I do mentorship for young developers who are coming into game development, and I also teach children. I run a program called Solo Game Dev Showcase in Ghana, and what it's about is we have people come on board, show what they have, and we all help improve it. This is to just unify developers, artists, sound engineers, and that's basically me. There's more, but the basics is this.
Please, let's clap for him.
Hi everyone. Mm, Let me start by the fact that my English, I'm not very fluent in English, but I will try my best. Okay. My journey in game development has started by founding on serious game startup. That's called Black Fantasia. And you have launched our first game who was inspired by typical historical background of Africa, and the game has hit something like more than 10,000 download on Play Store. To make it short, after actually I'm a gameplay programmer, and also I produce content. I have a Medium blog where I'm posting some content about game industry. I cover technical content like programming, math stuff, math and physics applied to game development, but also more generalistic, general topics. And also I have a YouTube channel where I do some devlog. I try to highlight some indie games creation over Africa, the whole Africa. Okay, that's all. Thanks.
Hi everyone. My name is Rahma Suleiman. I don't know how to perfectly introduce myself, but I am a game thinking designer and gamification expert. Yeah, that's the main thing I can actually relate to the people who are actually here. But yeah, I used to be a developer, but back then in high school, those crazy stuff. That's it. Is there any other thing? Yeah, I'm sure maybe most of you know Inter Africa. I'm also part of Inter Africa as a team lead in Tanzania. So Inter Africa is a creative organization. We're trying to create a space for creatives to enhance their living conditions. So we're also trying to reimagine the future of Africa by integrating the cultural aspect of African in the space.
Please, let's clap for them. Let's clap for all of them. Yes, so I really don't have much of a question. I feel like since you guys made the journey here, how was the airport or the road, or what's your experience of Nigeria like? What has Nigeria done to you? Does anyone want to share your experience of Nigeria?
Okay, so I'll start by something that my son said when we got here last night. He he actually said, "Oh, Daddy, Lagos on TV is different from Lagos in reality." And when he said that, I said, "What is your observation?" And he said, "Everybody is in a rush." And I said, "Okay, yeah, that's true, but I think it's because of their population and there's competition in everything. So everybody needs to do more to be recognized." So that is his observation and my explanation. I don't know whether I was right, but that's what I think. And talking about Lagos, our expectation or our reason for coming here, aside the fact that he has been invited to showcase his games, um, I also want to bring news from Ghana, how far we've gone, and what we are doing in the gaming space. This year, I would say we are getting more popular. Our president, for the first time, has introduced or has awarded the presidential pitch. A game developer won it. His name is Caleb. He was supposed to be here, but he's missing meeting the president tomorrow, and that's why he is not here. But I would say if the government has been able to recognize such a creative, someone in the gaming space, then I think we are getting it right. We are doing the right thing, and there is hope for us all. All creatives, not just developers, artists, musicians, everything that has something to do with game development. So that's the news from Ghana, and I'll encourage us all to keep working. We are getting recognized.
Yeah, please.
All right. To be honest, my experience of Lagos has been a reminder of my own home, my different parts of Nairobi, and also, or rather, different parts of Kenya. There's the coastal region, which has a lot of palm trees, and then there's the rush in Nairobi as well. So we're also very fast. If you come to Nairobi, yeah, yeah, you just have to go with the flow or stay away so that you're not knocked. Yeah, I remember as a child, my mom would walk with me and has tried what three of mine, and then people would go knocking me. It was a hassle going to town. So yeah, it's quite fast in Nairobi as well. So yeah, there's a lot of relatability. And actually, one of my family members is married to a Nigerian, so I feel like I'm at home in many ways. Yeah.
Hi again. It's my first time in Nigeria, and mm, first things I am come from Cotonou, Lagos. I surprised with fact that the travel was very short. So and yes, the people have told about it, and I can confirm it that people here is very busy. No joke. Okay, it's good, and I take the time mm, to aware of the fact that it's very big, very big country, and I like the fact to interact with people and things like that. Uh, about Benin, I come here with the expectation to learn more about what is how is going on the community English the game developer community here, and yes, I come in with idea that the community is more large here, and very big, and this is fact. But I've 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 with by hearing what a panelist has said and all this stuff, uh, I understand that there is some reality that we share together about lack of job or looking for opportunity. That in Benin, the community is more small. That this is a bit more difficult, I can say, but there is some initiative that for what we can upload, upload. Okay, okay. I can maybe share some of them with you. As well, we have a university and school, a French university that is installed on your tech hub. That is called Epitech. Since they have come, I think that they are very interested by creative and stuff like that. As well, they have invited me many times to for mentorship for some game jam they organize for the students, and with the collaboration in Benin, every year we are a host for the global game jam, and that is a step forward. And I was it's all. Thanks.
Um, I want to believe I've been having a great experience here. This is not my first time in Nigeria. I've been in Nigeria last year, and this is my second time. I believe it's not going to be the last time. Yeah.
Okay, okay then, yeah. So you can hold on to the mic, yes. So we don't want to put them much on the spot. I mean, I didn't tell any of them they'll be coming out. So everyone, you're saying it's a shock. But yeah, do you have any questions for them? If you're a game developer, one big thing I know is, like I said, collaboration across Africa is very difficult, right? Africa is divided in language from the global perspective into three, which is quite unfair, but that's the state of things. We know in Nigeria, Nigeria is seen as an Anglophone country, but when you enter outside Lagos, you know that we are more than that, right? Even within Lagos, there are many people that still, there are places you go to that English is still a barrier. There's still a barrier to use English for communication. Yeah. But across Africa, there's the part that speaks English, the Anglophone, the Francophone. I think there's the Lithophone, right? Yeah, I've forgotten that. Those who speak Portuguese. And then even East Africa, where a bulk of people speak Swahili, I believe. Yeah. So, do you have questions for them as a game developer, as a creative? Is there any question? Any question? Do you want to learn anything? None? Everybody's talking to their friend. Okay.
Okay, so I have to step out. My question is for Wendy, because like Oscar said, what you're doing in the industry is quite important to us because as a developer, we want people to talk about us. And so my question is just straightforward. How do you get your information, like the things you post, and how can we also support your blog, your website? Because I know I've seen your blog before, but it's not like I say it pop out every time. So like, how can we continue to support you? Is there like a YouTube channel? Is like an Instagram account that we can follow? But how do you like get your, like how do you find out about new developers, new projects? Yeah. Because you've not written about me before.
Okay.
That's it, Dushala.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Yeah, so actually attending events such as these are very helpful. Like for instance, last year I attended Africa Games Week, and I remember from there I got so many people to interview because you get to connect with people on a one-on-one basis, and then now you carry that connection and continue conversations, and then now I interview them, and then the relationship continues growing. So yeah, attending events is very important. I also go online. Although I've noticed that there's a lot of information gap online. Yeah, so that's another reason why we're doing this, why we're writing articles so that more people are aware of what's going on in the industry. So yeah, there's online, there's events, and at times just referrals. Someone can refer me to someone's story, and yeah. So by the way, I'd like to invite all of you who'd like me to cover your story. I'm open to give you my contact details. I have my cards with everything. I have a YouTube channel, yes. I have a website, but you see, I work with people who have their own website, so my articles go there. But now what I'm doing is collating all of them and putting them on my website now so that you can easily access all the articles I've written in the past. Yeah, so I'll share my business cards that have my social media handles and my website URL for anyone who's interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Or we can call it a day. Are we all good? Okay. So, to our panelists, welcome to Nigeria. Oh, what? Ah. After crying. Okay.
I'm new to the gaming industry, but I just want to say, how can there be more opportunities in terms of gaming industry to the general public, Mr. Mark?
Okay, all right. So I'll answer your question with a lot of examples with experience that I've gained. I've been in the industry for very long. I started gaming and trying to make my own games in the 90s. And it, it hasn't been easy. I'll say that it's difficult making money from it. I made most of my money when it comes to game-related things from interactive media. And so recently I wasn't making much from gaming actually. But I'll say to be able to get something from the industry, a friend of mine advised, I'll say Aram Tewia, when I asked him a similar question, his answer was, position yourself and access. So if you are a master of what you do, you've already positioned yourself. Now, the only thing left is get access to the resources. And identifying these resources is as easy as mingling with people in the industry. I will give another example. Last event we had in Ghana, I attended, criticized as usual. I'm very good at criticizing, and probably it came from years of being a lecturer. And so I criticized, and I also advised that if you are a developer, just be a developer. Collaboration makes us produce better results. So after that, I tried linking artists to these developers so that they can come up with better products. And it worked, or it is working. Now I have more people interested in joining the community because there are people who failed game development because they couldn't draw. And there are people who also failed because they couldn't code. So bringing these people together, I contacted Oscar and we discussed it. Next year, we are relaunching the solo game dev thing. And this is one reason why we want to rebrand, restructure, and see how we failed and how we succeeded, and have a better version 2.0 next year. So I'll say it's all about networking. So you network more and you get the gigs. There are slower methods of doing this. People do YouTubing. People do support like Cyril is doing. He makes games for free, and what he gets in return is people buying license for him, or probably people just donating a device to enable him. So that's also helping. So these other unconventional ways of getting something from the industry actually works because everybody can attest to that. It's difficult finding a job as a game developer. When I started monetizing my skills in interactive media and game development, I started by doing user interface, gamifying user interfaces. So points to motivate those who already love to play games, but they don't get to play games in the office. Make it fun, add sound effects, add points so that they still have that feeling of playing games. Add points that you can probably use to redeem 2 extra minutes of break time. So these were things that I introduced. Some, Oscar will put them in quotation marks, crazy CEOs are great, and we integrated it into even their data monitoring dashboards. You see things running around, flying around, and if it's dropping, it actually drops with a sad face. And these were things that we introduced that some people loved, some people thought were jokes, but worked for some of the employees because looking at feedbacks that we had, it worked, and we got some small money coming from that space. So it's all about identifying a problem and proposing a solution. There is an opportunity out there.
It's very hard. Harsh reality has game game developer is very difficult to get money. Uh, Personally, when I've started my first experience in game development industry, it was by founding on in a gaming startup that shut down through 3 years uh, because of lack of funding. And I retarget, I don't know if your word is this, retarget myself in game in mobile development for years for some years, and I start to work, and even I work for some French text startup from on remote. But after that, I realized that the game the game development is really what I want to do. So I decide to switch and focus my main time on it. I I work in game development, and I realized too also that I don't have just to be in my just in my home working on my computer, but I want to share what I'm doing, and that is why I've started to writing blog posts or making YouTube video, and and even doing video on YouTube. I'm just it's not just to focus on what I'm doing, but I try to highlight what even what other people do. Answering to your question, and actually, I'm working with my own phone. I have some job, a part-time job
Yeah.
that I'm doing to fund myself to try to keep in to work on it.
Yeah.
Okay, that is all.
Yeah. Please let's clap for them. Okay. Are there any more questions? One, two. Okay. Let's be quick about it, please. And just to add to that, that's what the bulk of the people in the industry do. The bulk of us actually have part-time jobs or another startup or something else. Because even when you make money from games, most times it's yes, and it's not enough to just relax on it. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So, thank you. Hi, my name is Martins. Yeah. Okay, so my name is Martins. So my question is for you because you are African game developers, and also for Oscar if he can have time to answer. So my question is this: what do you think about African games? Are we making African games for Africans, or do we have a chance at competing with games generally? Most Africans play games from in other countries. What do you think? Do you think we are going to ever get to the point whereby people from abroad can actually play our games and our games can get more popular? Or do you think, oh, it's just us also making games for ourselves? I mean, from the qualities of games that you've even played or that you've even made, do you think we are getting closer to even competing at all with the games that are out there already in the world? And then the second thing is about the esports. What do you think about esports generally in Africa? Do you think we are going anywhere yet? And then I'll push this to Michael. You mentioned Garastor to us once. What do you think Garastor is doing in all of these things? You think it will ever make it get better, or like those are just the questions? Thank you.
Okay, 3 questions.
Okay, so I'll say the teacher in me will use an example again. I believe when you make games that you would want to play. You, if you make games that you want to play, you put more into it. I I'll bring another quote by Cyril. He'll tell you that nobody looks at the code and says it's a nice game. Everybody sees the graphics. So what happens is when you think like Cyril, you may end up getting frustrated. The, the thing about programming or making games is make games that are just like Nintendo president will tell you, make games that are fun. Make games that are introducing new ways of playing. Once you start looking at game design as challenging the industry, you will fail and you become disappointed. Cut a niche for yourself. Handle what you can do. If it's about making games for your classmates to say, oh, you've done well, do that. Once you succeed at that, you'll be surprised. They will show it to other people who will also be interested. And once you build that confidence, you make better games. So don't worry about challenging the industry. Do what you can do. And make games for yourself, make games for Africa, make games for anybody who loves games. I believe when foreigners make games, they don't say they are making games for Europeans or for, they just make games for gamers. So that's what I have to say. Make games for gamers. Once upon a time too, I was into making games for gambling games. I don't believe in gambling. I believe in hard work, actually. But we had problems with licensing. These are bottlenecks you meet. But when you are making games for gamblers, they don't care about the graphics. They just want to win. And that is what excites them. So when someone comes up with, they call it codes, some combination of letters, I don't really understand why someone will believe that I know the pattern to randomization. But when those things pop up, and it's a dark screen and you have it in red, they see it. So also learn communication. If you learn communication with graphics and you do the right thing, it will catch attention. And that is what is important. If your game is good, the players will play it. So just make games that are good. It's not about graphics. I also know someone who plays old games on the Nintendo Wii because he will tell you, it's not about Xbox. I have Xbox, I have PlayStation, but I like the Wii. And he plays Wii always. Yeah, so it's about the gameplay and not the graphics. So don't worry about the international market, just make games.
are very good tips, and yeah, I totally agree. In addition to this, on the question on competing internationally, yes, there are many African brands that have competed internationally and done very well. For instance, there's Meccan Games, whose title last year the president topped charts in all stores, Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. So yes, people are doing well. There's also Carry Fast, which also purchased a game from Kenya Games, which is an Ethiopian-based studio. And also Carifas is receiving a lot of funds, and it's African based, with a few people from outside Africa, but still. So yeah, we're competing internationally in many ways, and people are seeing the value that we have within the continent. So that's a good thing. As for the question on esports, there are also really great things happening, especially in Ghana. I've seen a lot of, great things happening. I know in Kenya also we have this lady called Queen Arrow, who's been, I don't know what they call it, but she's working with Red Bull and many other international brands. So yeah, I think the future is really bright. I think what we really need to do is just hone our crafts. If you choose that this is your path, just go and do the best that you can, and yeah, you will be able to compete internationally. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with things that they have said, and I want to add some things. If doing game, your main uh, your main point, the thing that you want to showcase to people to buy your game is, buy my game because it's an African game. You're going to be deceived. I think that don't expect that people buy your game just because it's an African games. On my beginning, I've doing this. I was naive like that. My first game, all the voice off was in local language, phone. But I've had subtitle in French and English, and after I start, the main people that download my game was not in Benin, but from other country, even France, Ivory Coast, and something like that. Maybe there is a marketing issues and something like that, but I'm confident that the main argument not wouldn't be buy my game because it's an African game. Try to find something more relevant, more that engage people in entertainment. And the second thing that I have to add is, you have said about graphics. All is not about graphics. People think that prefer to compete with a trip. We don't have to
Triple A.
compete with triple A game by doing awesome graphic. There are many register. There are retro game. There are games that make with a low poly that many people like. If you go in Steam, you can check and see some game that you can call that you can think that the graphics is not so awesome, but you it will hit million the download and sales. So try to find your style and your niche. Something like that is the thing that I have to add. Thanks.
So maybe for me, I think I have a different perspective. I believe it's a two-way traffic. I wouldn't say that we are in a place to compete with the global market for now. I believe we have incredible creatives and whatever, but I feel like I think it starts from the beginning. Like, who are you designing for? And it actually takes you back, like the kind of game you're creating. What are you creating for? Is it for entertainment specifically? And who are the target audience that you're aiming to play your game or to sell your game to? So I wouldn't say that we are in a place to compete. Yes, we have that chance in many years to come, but for now, I'll take that as an opportunity for us to actually explore different opportunities and build our capacities to make sure that we have a great standout in this space. So it's opportunity for us to learn and fight back. I would say that. Um, he said something about Gara. What was the question again?
What Gara is doing is it going to change anything? Is it relevant? Yeah.
Change what exactly? Because. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. So I'll give you my own perspective on that. As creatives, we know the struggle. The struggle is very real. Like, we have a lot of creators who are creating different products and services, but coming to a point where you actually try to create money, it's very difficult. And we all know that we need a lot of effort, investment, and blah, 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 blah. So what is actually coming in a way in terms of Gara, from what I understand, these people are trying to create a space for us. You're a game developer. You create your product. Where are you actually going to sell it? Do you have people? Do you have mechanics? Do you have any strategies that you can actually integrate to make sure that you are going to get the investment back that you put on? No. Even if you have it, it's not going to assure you sustainability for a very long period of time. Yeah? So what they're trying to do is creating a platform where, okay, you are creative, you have your thingy, you can bring it to our platform, we can promote it for you. We can get ways for you to make money and sustain yourself so you can actually continue with your journey as a game developer or a creative. So it's more of creating opportunities because we don't have those kind of platforms. And even if we have kind of platforms in the spaces, they are not actually going to fulfill the needs of us as African creatives. Do you get it? Yeah. So we have people in the space who are actually trying to help us out. And if you feel like that's a great opportunity for you, just go for it. If you want to monetize your products, your services, just trying to find access to opportunities of people who can actually help you out. So for me, I would say, Gara, they're trying to change the narrative. Because even 10 years back, we didn't have those kind of platforms. Most of us were relying to Play Stores, yeah? Can we measure the impact of it as creatives since we've started till now? Do we have statistics for that? No? No? Okay, so that's it. I don't know if it makes sense.
Do you still want to ask a question? Answered. Okay.
Yeah, money is very important. So, mhm.
Okay, I think I
Yeah.
can just take that quickly
Okay.
because there would be a session with Ga during this week during the week. So there will be another virtual session, and then you can ask those questions directly to Ga. Okay, but from what I know, the main thing is if you're working with Ga, then they'll need to publish your game exclusively for 1 year at least. Because Ga is a platform that allows people access premium African content, games, comics, animation. They're doing a launch this October. And so if they want to ensure that this is the only place you can get African content so that that audience interested in that market can come through that channel, you don't want to also put those games elsewhere and create confusion. You get the idea? you want, if there's a one place stop, that should be the place. So that's the main thing I know. Every other question, you can ask them directly during the session. Yes. And with that, I think let's clap for our speakers. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So with that, we have come to the end of the launch of the Gamathon. I think you all have a clear picture on what we have laid out for the week, right? So tomorrow we have the tour, just to go over again. Whilst that is happening, there will be some sessions happening online. If you've not gotten your ticket, please check on Meet to Match. The schedules are all online. And you can watch the streams even if you're on the way, on the road. But tomorrow mainly be the tour. Wednesday, we're going for a legal workshop. And after that, we'll be at Alliance Francaise for the film screening. Please be there if you can. And invite your friends as well. It's really open house. On Thursday is the main industry day. There's going to be a pitch competition, networking, exhibition. So you get to see some games by the game developers, animators, artists, and the likes. Thursday would be at Viburnum Valley for the Teen Expo. And then we'll move on for the Anime Rave event. Then Saturday, we'll be at Murio Koala Park for the Creative Block Carnival. And that will bring everything to an end. And yeah, I just call on Nachi, who is one of our community partners, to, yes, quickly tell you about what they do at Student Party, because I know there are some students here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Oscar. Can we give Oscar and the team a round of applause again for this? It's an amazing opportunity to be here. So just quickly, because I know I'll be hungry, I'm hungry. So Student Party is an edtech company whose goal is to foster the early career growth of university students through technology, community, and partnerships. And we provide a digital campus that enables social learning, upskilling, and experience building outside of the classroom. Now, what does that have to do with the gaming industry? Well, you can find most young people in the university. And unfortunately, most people that end up studying, say, I don't want to be specific, but we know that you study something in university and you come out and you're doing something else, So we want to provide an avenue for students to explore their early career growth. And we want to partner with organizations like Africa Communicate so that they can provide this opportunity for mentorship, for guidance, for upskilling, for experience building, so that they don't go out there and join the unemployed youth. So that's basically what we do at Student Party. You can download a mobile app on the App Store and check it out yourselves. Thank you very much. Student Party. Paddy. You can scan the QR code there.
Okay then, with that, we'll officially call this session to an end. So thank you so much for coming. Please feel free to connect with one another. And all delegates, please, there is a photo booth here for you to take some professional pictures. And for the rest of us, please, let's connect, let's interact. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.